You don't lose your life all at once. Sighs. You lose it slowly, in the small choices you repeat every single day. And by the time you notice, whispers, it's almost too late. I'm 99 years old. Almost a century has passed, and in that time, I've seen the world change in ways that no one could have predicted. I've watched generations chase solutions, scramble after fleeting trends, and pile complexity onto lives that were already full. People spend years looking for answers in expensive programs, in advice that changes with every headline, or in promises of quick fixes. But when you live this long, you begin to notice something most people never do. The truth is rarely complicated. The truth is quiet. It is not found in dramatic actions or revolutionary methods. It is found in patterns, in choices repeated over and over, almost invisibly, until they shape who you are and how you live. For most of my life, I ate the same 3 foods every single day. Not because I was trying to defy age, not because any expert told me to, not because it seemed extraordinary. I simply returned to them, again and again, because they brought a sense of balance, rhythm, and clarity to my life that nothing else could. And now, after nearly a century of living, I can tell you this with certainty. Those repeated, quiet choices changed everything. They affected my energy, my focus, my strength, and my ability to see life clearly. They taught me lessons about discipline, patience, and the subtle power of consistency that no book, no trend, and no quick solution could ever convey. As you listen to this story, understand that it is not about the foods themselves, but about the principle behind them, a principle that most people overlook, yet one that quietly governs every successful, meaningful life. It is in the repeated, unglamorous actions, in the habits that nobody notices, that life is built or eroded. And this is what makes the next part so vital, because when you understand how small, consistent choices shape everything, the way you see your daily life, your routines, and your decisions will never be the same again. The first thing you need to understand is that your life is not shaped by grand, dramatic moments. It is not defined by sudden breakthroughs, lucky opportunities, or the rare occasions when everything seems to fall into place. Most people don't see this. They believe transformation comes from a single turning point, a monumental decision that changes everything overnight. But life does not work that way. Life moves quietly. It moves in the choices you make when no one is watching, in the routines you follow, in the small actions repeated day after day. Every morning, every meal, every small habit writes the story of your future. And here lies the first lesson. Repetition is not meaningless. Every small action you repeat is telling your mind who you are, shaping your energy, your resilience, and the way your body and spirit respond to the world. For nearly a century, I ate the same 3 foods every single day. Simple, predictable, unchanging. And people often ask me if it bored me. But boredom is not what steals life from you. Distraction does. Constantly chasing new experiences, new trends, new excitement, leaves your mind restless, your body unbalanced, and your life scattered. When you simplify, when you remove the unnecessary, clarity begins to emerge. You notice your body. You understand your energy. You see patterns that were invisible before, and slowly, without drama, you come back to yourself. This is where most people miss the point. They spend their lives avoiding routine, thinking variety is freedom. But more often, variety is chaos in disguise. It fractures attention, weakens focus, and drains the energy that could have been used to build something lasting. Simplicity, when chosen deliberately, becomes a source of power. The foods I chose were not just meals. They were decisions, small statements of discipline that reminded me daily of what matters most. And over time, this quiet repetition shaped more than my body. It shaped my mind, my habits, my resilience, and my capacity to face challenges without fear or distraction. This is the power of the ordinary repeated consistently. It is invisible, subtle, and often ignored, yet it quietly transforms everything. Most people underestimate the quiet power of repetition. They see routine as boring, as predictable, as something to escape. But what they fail to understand is that transformation is hidden in these small, repeated actions. Every time you choose the same path, the same habit, the same small decision, you are training yourself. You are shaping your mind, your body, and your future without even realizing it. Life does not reward flashes of effort or sudden bursts of change. It rewards consistency. The foods I ate every day were more than meals. They were a discipline, a daily affirmation that I could control the things within my reach while the rest of the world spun with chaos and uncertainty. And this is where everything shifts. When you embrace simplicity and consistency, you begin to notice patterns that were invisible before. You begin to feel energy in a way you never thought possible. Your mind sharpens. Your focus becomes clear. You start to understand that what looks ordinary to others is extraordinary to those who pay attention. But there is a difficult truth here. Most people do not want this kind of life. They crave instant results, quick fixes, dramatic changes. They want to feel different without actually doing the work that change demands. And that is why so many remain stuck, repeating the same mistakes year after year, hoping that somehow, magically, life will transform without effort. I have watched people grow old, not because of time, but because of regret. Regret for habits they never built, for discipline they ignored, for the small choices that could have made everything better. And the cruelest part is that they always assumed they had more time than they really did. What you do today, in the quiet, ordinary moments, shapes the next decade of your life. You do not need a complicated plan. You do not need to reinvent yourself overnight. You need one small, deliberate action repeated and repeated again until it becomes a force that quietly builds your future. This is the lesson hidden in my 99 years of life. Power is invisible, patience is silent, and the simplest choices taken consistently hold more weight than any dramatic event ever could. Now listen carefully, because this is where everything becomes clear. Life is not defined by what you dream about or the plans you make. It is defined by what you do every single day. In the quiet moments no one notices. Every habit, every small action, every decision you repeat silently shapes the life you will one day look back on. The foods I chose, the routines I followed, the consistency I held on to, even when I felt tired, distracted, or unmotivated, built more than my body. They built strength, resilience, and clarity. They taught me patience and self-awareness. And this is the hidden truth most people never understand. Transformation is not loud or dramatic. It is subtle. It is invisible. It happens when no one is watching, when your choices go unnoticed, and yet their impact accumulates quietly, relentlessly, until one day you wake up and realize that your life has been written in the repetition of these simple acts. Most people spend decades chasing what feels exciting, trying to shortcut growth and avoiding discomfort. But real growth is earned through small, consistent, sometimes monotonous choices that form the backbone of a strong, meaningful life. Every time you repeat something deliberately, you tell your mind, your body, and your spirit who you are and who you intend to become. This is the lesson hidden in those 3 daily foods. It is not about the foods themselves. It is about commitment, discipline, and the understanding that your future is being built silently, day by day, choice by choice. The quiet repetition of small, deliberate actions shapes you far more than any rare, spectacular event ever could. And the most important truth, the one that can change the way you see everything you do, is this: you do not become who you want to be through desire or intention alone. You become what you practice, what you repeat, and what you consistently choose to make part of your life. At 99, I don't remember the big, dramatic moments the way most people think they will. I don't dwell on sudden changes, life-altering events, or extraordinary achievements. What stays with me are the quiet routines, the repeated choices, the small habits that seemed insignificant at the time but quietly became the foundation of everything I am. Life does not ask for perfection. It asks for consistency. It asks that you show up for yourself day after day in ways that may feel ordinary, but are in fact extraordinary when repeated over years, over decades. The foods I ate, the routines I kept, the simple practices I followed, they were never glamorous, but they shaped my body, sharpened my mind, and gave me clarity that cannot be bought or learned in a single lesson. And that is the lesson I want you to carry with you. The future is built in silence, in repetition, in the choices that you make without anyone noticing. So take a moment now and ask yourself what one small action you can repeat today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Not for a week, not for a month, but for the life you truly want to live. Because in the end, it is never about the 3 foods themselves. It is about the discipline, the consistency, and the deliberate choices you make each day that quietly determine who you become. Remember, the life you desire is not shaped by luck, opportunity, or fleeting motivation. It is shaped by what you practice, by what you repeat, and by the small, persistent actions you take in silence. So begin now. Start with one choice, one habit, one step, and let it carry you forward. Over time, you will see how extraordinary the ordinary can be, and how the smallest decisions, repeated quietly, create a life that is resilient, meaningful, and full of purpose. If this story resonates with you, subscribe to our channel and join us as we explore these hidden truths, the lessons of life lived fully, and the timeless wisdom that can quietly change the way you live, think, and act every single day.